Good morning, everyone. There you go. I see. I was giving you guys a couple minutes to show up. I see everyone in YouTube world. Good morning. Good morning. All the way from Barbados. Beatrice, good morning. Bridget, good morning. Kimberly, good morning. I had seen you just waiting around. Thank you so much for jumping back on. We're so excited. I don't even have my phone near me. I'm gonna answer some of the questions that didn't get answered, and if I don't have the answer, I will go and find the answer for you. So we are excited to welcome you guys all back on. And it should be a great chat. It should be very informative. And one thing about being a teacher is that we love questions. And I always tell my students, especially in DTA, that you get out of me what you pull out of me, right? And so sometimes a teacher can have a set of things that they were going to talk about, but it's not until the students ask the right questions, right, that you see things coming out to on the surface. And so that's what we're going to do today. I have some set questions that I saw that were so good that I wanted to make sure that I hit this morning, and then I'm going to take your questions as well. So before we do that, I'm going to introduce to you guys two of my students. And I love doing this because when we share about DTA, I can tell you how amazing it is, but it's not the same unless you hear from two of my students or three of my students. So we have two today, students slash mentees, whatever you want to call them, that are here today. They're just going to share their experience quickly. And then we're going to go into the Q&A. And then at the end of that, I am going to announce the winner of the 30-minute coaching session with me. This was the person who was able to sign up for DTA between 12 p.m. and I guess it'll be 12 a.m. on the first day we rolled out enrollment. So that is kind of our agenda this morning. I see you all the way from the Cayman Islands. Good to see you again, Dominique. Good to see you all from St. Martin. Oh, y'all just making me just want to jump in a plane right now. All I can see is blue waters when I read that, right? Like clear blue waters. So good to have you guys on. And we're gonna go ahead and get started. Let's see. Oh my goodness, saints from the Meridian, Mississippi. Meridian, I mean that's close to. At first, I thought you said Madrid, Spain. I'm like, oh my gosh, we have someone all the way from Spain. But bless you from Trinidad and Tobago and Zambia and London and New Haven, Connecticut. Belize, another one. All y'all just making me super, super jealous. But I think all of this is a clue from the Lord that He's calling me to the Caribbeans. I think we need to do like a Caribbean island tour of some sort, right? Because all of you guys are jumping in from there from all different parts of the world. So, like I said, the first thing that I want to do is just hear from our students. Then we're going to go into the Q&A so you guys can get your questions ready. And then I'm going to introduce the winner from our raffle for those that signed up for DTA. So I'm going to bring them on. And I'm just so excited to have Miss Dion Parks with me and Miss Gina Luisa with me on this morning. And we're just going to talk about DTA a little bit as everybody's kind of funneling in. I want you to hear from them, their experience. And I know we got some students watching that know them very well. But we're going to jump into that. Then we're going to go into the Q&A. So my first question for you ladies is what led you to join DTA? And any of you guys can start.
Well, for me,
Make sure you're unmuted. Let me make sure. Okay, you're good. You're good.
okay. So for me, Dr. Faith, I was probably like so many other people. I happened to listen to one of your summits, and it was so amazing. And you had mentioned that if you want to go deeper, if you want to go further, sign up. And so I couldn't imagine, honestly, to tell the truth, I couldn't imagine that it could go deeper than what I was already receiving in the summit. And only to find out it actually did. So that's what prompted me.
Amazing. And you're one of our early students. You've been with us for 3 years, right? You're
Yes,
D1.
I'm actually D4.
D4. Okay. I thought you had been here. Oh, that's still almost what, 2 years? D4.
Yes, I thought it was beyond 2 years, but yes.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, Gina, what led you to join DTA?
I had first heard about you. One of my friends had shared a snippet of a video you did on Facebook, and I had found your YouTube channel. I was listening to you. I actually signed up first for the Dreamers and Seers Club,
Yeah.
and I was going to your page, and I was on the waiting list. I was like, okay, what is this mentoring thing? Finally got to the Identity and Summit. I'm D6, and just what Dion said, I was like, okay, where do I sign up? I remember posting, it was Monday and I was like, I'm ready to sign up now. Can you
Yeah.
open the doors now? Because I thought, I mean, gosh, it's just, I couldn't imagine going any further than we had already done with the Identity Summit. I
Yeah.
just wanted
I love it. I love it.
more.
And for you ladies, what would you say has been one pivotal moment or two as you've been going through the program?
You know what? I love this question because um, a pivotal moment for me was when I realized that I actually did not understand the love that God had for me because I
Mm,
didn't understand my identity.
mm,
And I had, you wouldn't believe, so many prophetic words,
yeah,
so many things spoken over me, and oh my goodness, you're this and you're that. And I still could not celebrate my value and my worth because I didn't
mm,
understand my identity.
mm,
And when I got into the program, that was the first thing that you did. And I love that we have the videos because I was able to put it on replay, and I went back and listened again and listened again. And I said, I really didn't understand the love of God, what he had for me.
mm.
I didn't know how to celebrate my value, my worth. It just didn't click. And I said, wow, this is a pivotal moment. And all these years that I've been in the church,
Yeah.
I did not understand my value, and I did not understand my identity. So that was
Wow.
a pivotal moment.
That's life changing. And we hear that so often. And it's rewarding, right? For me, because that's like my life message, my life purpose. And then just to hear that even after years, so many people are still trying to figure it out. And then to have those moments where it all makes sense. It's so, so rewarding. Thank you for that. How about you, Gina? Just a pivotal moment that you can think about in the program.
A pivotal moment for me was probably the very first module, which is what Dion mentioned. For me, it was the mother and the father wounds because I had been in the church on and off. I was a late bloomer. I was saved when I was a teenager, but didn't really grow up in the church, and so many misunderstandings. But deep down, it was like every time I got closer to God, I would hit a brick wall, or
Yeah.
I would think I would be overcome certain issues, and then I would meet other set of relationships, same thing, same patterns kept popping up, and I was like, I don't understand, whatever I'm
Yeah.
learning in church is not working,
Yeah.
something's wrong with me. And then the modules, I was like, I mean, the mother wounds, I was like, check, 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 check. But the pivotal moment was like, in my experience in church, it was usually like, if you imagine steps 1 through 5, I wanted to
Yeah.
get through 5, I was on step 1, and people were like, go to step 5, and I was like,
I don't
I
know
don't
the
know
other
how.
steps.
Or they would say, here's step 2, and I wouldn't know what to do. But Dr. Faith, your modules were like, here's step 1, here's step 5. You can't go to step 2 until you get step 1. And I'm going to give you the tools to get to step 2. And I'm going to teach you how to use the tools. And it was mind blowing. It was like, oh, so now I'm like, I'm not quite at step 5 yet. I'm going to say that about me. But to know I have the tools, to know
Yeah.
that I have the information, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was so pivotal to me.
I love it. I'm the same way though. I like steps. Like, some things are too broad for me to like be able to grasp. So what do you do first? What do you do next? What do you do second? And sometimes when we want to be healed or we want to get to the fun part, whether it's gifts or business, whatever, you just want to get there. But then you're realizing sometimes when we look back over our lives, even with great big prophetic words over us, if we don't have those early steps, those words don't mean anything, or this revelation doesn't mean anything. And so it's so important to have those steps. So good. For those who are just jumping on, we're just talking briefly to some of our students in our DTA program, and then we're going to go into our Q&A session, and then we're going to announce our winner who won a coaching session with me. But they've just been sharing with us what led them to join DTA, just a pivotal moment for them in the program. And so the last question I have, and if you are watching and you have a question for one of of my students, you guys can go ahead and put them in the comments. Just put hashtag Q, because I wanted you guys to have a chance to ask the students a question instead of me just talking. But the last question I had for them was, if someone is on the fence right now and they're like, I don't know if this is for me, I don't know if it's worth the investment, what would you say to anybody that is on the fence?
Oh my goodness. I think the first thing I would ask them is, do you feel that nudge?
Mhm.
Do you feel that prompting? It's probably time. But similar to what Gina said, even about the mother father wounds, I would bet that any of us can say that we had experienced those things. And if you are on the fence, and you know that you have had prophetic words, you know that there is greatness down in you, and you just don't know what step to take next, don't delay. Go ahead and sign up. If you follow the program, Dr. Faith, if I can just say this, Dr. Faith, I know that you're going to announce the one-on-one, and I think that is awesome. But one of the things that has helped me so much is that community,
Yeah.
because the community, somebody is going to ask a question that you didn't think of, and it's going to get answered. And so the program is so complete. So if you feel that I know that I have something there and I just don't know how to get it done,
Yeah.
this is the program. And I say that with all sincerity.
Yeah. And I love these two because not only did they join the program, they ended up joining our family, right? And so DTA is not a church, right? We expect you to be in church. We help you heal your church hurt for those of you guys who are not, right, and walk through that. But I love both Gina and Dion have become family. Gina actually started out as Legacy O, which is our online campus, and then moved here, and the Parks are part of our online campus. They've been part of our marriage ministry. They're just family. So I love what DTA does, not just connect me to some amazing people, but you get connected to friends and family as well in the community. How about you, Gina? What would you say to someone that is on the fence?
I would say, like, even if there are people in the audience that you're going, prophetic word, what does that mean? What church? I don't really understand all of this. But for me, it's God hears your unspoken prayers. He knows where you are. He knows how to meet where you are. And for me, it was a sense of something was missing in my life. Like so many events that had happened, I didn't understand. I didn't have the language for it. And so if you're on the fence, this is it. If you're not sure, this is it. This is God saying, trust me, trust the process. And I know a lot of people think about time, finances, how am I going to fit it in? I promise you. I mean, I was thinking about it even as I'm going through, I've been here, I've been a year, I'm celebrating 1 year. And I literally looked at my budget and said, okay, I can go without Starbucks coffee for X amount of days. Okay, I can go online church these 2 weeks and save the gas. But that's how you will find yourself looking for a way to keep going. So it's worth the investment. The time, I mean, the videos are 3 to 5 minutes. Dr. Faith releases them slowly. It's once a week. It's very systematic. If you have a schedule, even if you're the person that's the least organized person in the world, if you find 30 minutes a week, you can get it done. And once you start the one-on-ones with Dr. Faith, you're going to be like, okay, when's our next family chat? Okay, so it's worth it. Those are on the fence. It's worth it. Just what Dion said. Just close your eyes, plug your nose, and just jump. Just
I
do
love
it.
it. I love it. Thank you, ladies, so much for your time. I was trying to see if anybody had a question specifically for you. I see two questions there, but they are questions that I will answer. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for your time. Those that are just jumping on, we're going to go into our broad Q&A right now, but I wanted you to be able to hear from our students what DTA is like and what their experience is like. So thank you, ladies, so much.
Love you too.
Love
Bye-bye.
you. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. I see these two questions here, and then we're going to go into our strategic questions that I saw from the summit that some of them had not been answered. And then after that, we're going to announce the winner of the 30-minute coaching session with me from on Wednesday, but we have some other exciting news. So I would encourage you not only to hang on in here, but also encourage your friends to join us. All right. So the first question was, I tried signing up yesterday and was unable. Is registration closed? No, registration closes Monday, July 4th. So I would go and try again. If you have bought a previous product with us, it may prompt you to log in because all of our products are on the same platform. Once you log in, you should be able to register. If you can't, you can email support@askdrfaith.com and they will send you the offer links to be able to register. Another one said, I'll be starting a prophetic school March 2023, last 6 months. Is that, and if that time comes, would I be able to pause it because it becomes too overwhelming? You cannot pause the program, right? So it's like saying I'm part of a gym membership, and then you go to the gym director and say, well, I'm not going to be able to come because I'm really busy, but I want to be able to come back whenever I can. They're going to say, well, you can keep paying every single month, and whenever you're ready, you can come back, or you can quit, right, the gym and come back when you're ready. So we don't, there's no pausing mechanism. Your payments will continue to come out every single month. It's up to you to make sure that you are doing your work. If you stop and you quit the program, you can come back. It would just be at the price point that the program is at that point. All right. We have, been gracious. We love Jesus. It's also a business, but if someone gets severely sick, like when COVID hit, right, and they showed us that they had been sick, they had the doctor's notes. We're gracious. We give you $45 a month's worth because it's an opportunity for us to give you an offering because it was out of your control. But things that are in your control, you either just keep going or you step out and you have to reapply again. Is it too late for the bonus replays? It is. We closed that out yesterday at midnight. And so if you hadn't signed up by last night at midnight, you missed the bonus replays. But I am going to introduce one more bonus today if you sign up within the next 24 hours. So at the end of this Q&A, I'm going to be sharing with you guys one more bonus that you can get if you sign up in the next 24 hours. And yes, if you already signed up, you're going to get it. And yes, if you're already a DTA student, you're going to be part of it. All right. I'm saying all that because my students always forget. They get so excited during the summit that they forget that you get whatever bonuses that the others get, except for the coaching 101 because they don't need it. But yes, so let's get into some of the questions here. If I missed your question, please repost it, right? Please repost it. But one of the reasons I wanted to have this today is because I saw some really good questions that we didn't get a chance to answer. And so here's one of the questions that came up. It said, if we are late building wealth, investing, or buying land, never knew about any of this growing up, just advised to be a good person and get a job, work, and have the basic life necessities, what are some practical first steps we can take to get started and be safe during the famine? All right. The practical first steps is looking at what you have, right? How much money do I bring in per month? How much are my bills? Do I have any to save after paying my bills, after tithing, right? What do I have left to save? So the first thing that you want to do is learn how to have a clear budget of what's coming in monthly. Once you look at that, if you have something to save, then you want to start building a 6-month saving plan. So if I have $200 after paying off everything every single month, then I'm going to start putting that $200 away and until I have 6 months worth of what I get paid. So if I get paid $3,000 a month, I need to create a savings of at least $18,000, right? So the first thing that you want to do is create an emergency savings fund. That's step one. If you look at what you bring in, you look at your bills and you're like, I got $40 left. That's the same thing you want to do. Save that $40. And guys, look at the things that you want to cut out. This is what I tell people, even when it's time to register for DTA, because you have a Netflix account, you have a Hulu account, you have an iTunes account. All these things are taking $12, $15, $40. You could quit all of those, right? invest it in something that is life changing and change the trajectory of your life. It's the same thing when you're starting to create some sort of budgeting or savings plan. What can you cut off? Remember what Pastor Soso said? He said, in a famine, this is the time to live lean. Live lean. That means that all the extra fat, all the extra eating out all the time, Chick-fil-A every single week, Popeyes, whatever you eat, right? You need to figure out how to cut that out of your budget, and so you can create a savings. If you're like, man, I don't even have anything, that means that you're living above your means, right? That means that either you're in a city that is too expensive, that means that you either have bills that need to be dealt with in a different way, you need strategy around that. And I'm going to share with you guys the bonus that we have coming up for all those that sign up for DTA today, right? So we want to give you some practical strategies, but what helps you increase your value is either eradicating debt or earning more. So the next thing you're going to be looking at is, okay, if I'm barely making it, how can I earn more? This is what we talked about all week long. How do you increase your value? How do you up your skills, right? What else can I be doing so that I can be earning more, so that I can be saving? And then lastly, if you're like, I have a good cushion, I have a savings account, you want to make sure that, well, at this point, there's long-term savings, and then there's early stuff, right? Early savings. And when I say long-term, I would say take your money and invest in a 401k, make sure you have retirement. But if we're talking about right here in the moment, I would say the 18,000, I'm using the $3,000 a month as an example, or the 6-month emergency fund is the first thing that I would tell you to do. And then you want to assess what you have. Is there family land? Is there family houses, right? Sometimes this is a good time to sell a house, right? Because it's a seller's market, but the buyers now are slowing down because the interest rate is so high. But that's something that you may want to do. What can we sell so that we can have resources? Then land, what can we grow ourselves, right? Or where can we buy land? Land and houses are the best investments because, one, they don't really depreciate and they're physical. Now, things like cryptocurrency, those are also good investments if you know what you are doing. Right now, everybody in the industry is waiting for some of the crypto to go down a little bit so they can buy more. And if you have the money, it's a risk, right? I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm just telling you some of the basic things that you can do to get started if you find yourself there. All right. I will start school next month, Monday and Friday, 8 to 4, and work in the afternoon. Do you think I can still sign up? Yes, because the videos you can watch at night, you can watch on Saturday. It's study at your own pace. The only thing that's live, it's every Wednesday morning at 9:30 when I answer your questions and I coach you. All right. Would you say everyone have mother and father wounds? There are some people who had great moms and dads and may not, but the majority of people do. Even if your mom and dad was there, their job of a mother is to nurture, comfort, and teach. And so you may have had a mother who nurtured and comforted, but maybe she didn't teach you. So you've been wandering all your life, trying to figure out what you're supposed to do with your life. You may have a dad. The job of a dad is to provide, protect, and give identity. Maybe he provided, maybe he protected, but he didn't give you identity. So you have one aspect of you that's lacking, right? So you could have had fathers that were there, mothers that were there, but they didn't have the fullness of it. So for me, it was more father wounds, not necessarily mother wounds, that the Holy Spirit had to help me heal through. And, it could be one or the other depending on your life story. How could you be successful when you're disabled? I mean, there's so much that you can do. I know one of the limitations that disabled people always have is that they get stuck because the government gives them money, right? So if you do a job, if you start coaching, if you create art, if you write books, and you start making more than what the government gives you, the government will take away your disability. And this is part of a cycle. It's a really bad cycle in that we get dependent because we're disabled on what the government is giving us. But then what it does is it limits our ability to think creatively. We get so attached to what we can get because that's all we've been taught we can do, right? So if you don't feel like you have the confidence or you don't have the skill set to do anything above that, it's really a ploy to keep you at a certain level. So when you're disabled, there are things that you didn't do sometimes. It's not because you wanted to be disabled. So it puts you in this really precarious position, right? And I've coached people through this where they wanted to coach or they wanted to start a business. And I told them, you're going to have to take a risk at some point, right? Because as soon as you start making more than what your disability allows, you just have to be aware that you're not going to get that disability anymore. So you're either going to try it and fly and soar, or you're going to keep staying under that window. And it's a decision that when you're disabled, you have to make. But disabled people can do a bunch of things. I mean, they can paint, they can draw, they can write, they can think, they have brains, right? So there are things they can do. Sometimes it's a physical disability, sometimes it's an emotional disability. But that's why you have to find your gift sets, you have to find your skill sets, you have to find where you bring in value. And these are all things that we resource people with in our program. All right. Let's see. Other questions from this summit that you have. If you weren't able to attend the 9:30 a.m. sessions, will we be able to send questions to have them answered? Yes, for sure. So you will be able to post them in our Facebook community group. You put hashtag family chat in that private group, and then I answer them on the live, and you can just watch that live whenever you have time to be able to answer it. All right. Any more questions? When will your new book be available to buy? It's, man, the goal really, and I'll tell you this, the goal was to have it available this week, but it's connected to our app launch. And so we are working on tweaks that should have been ready, but technology. So it probably in the next 1 or 2 weeks, you will have it's 14 days of declarations to the true you. And so we're going to be releasing some things around that over the next 14 days. How can one get coaching if one works during the live sessions? You send your questions in, and then I answer those questions live. It's worth the sacrifice. Good. Any other questions? Thinking of going back to school. Would it be smart to move in with a friend to save money? Yes. During this time, it will be so wise to live with other people. Rent has gone up so high. And if it's possible for you to be able to split the rent and be able to save some money during this time, that is the wise thing to do. How would you handle exploring work to earn extra money with a busy schedule or family? I don't know how you would handle it, but I know how I handle it, right? If you want something really bad, you make it work. And so, what I advise people, if you work at 9 to 5, but you have a passion project, but you also have children, I organize my life in chunks, and I make sure that each chunk of time is appointed something. So, for example, if from 9 to 4, I do my work for church on Mondays and Wednesdays and Tuesdays and Thursdays and Fridays, I do the work for my business. From 4 to 8, I am taking care of my children. I'm cooking, I'm bathing, I'm putting them to bed. From 8 to 10, I am working on my passion project. It should be writing the books that I need to write, right? From 8 to 10, I'm doing that. And 10 o'clock, I go to bed. You can do anything you set your mind to, but you've got to be organized and you got to have structure. You got to make sure that you are a hound over your time. But it is possible. I have seen people with children and families do extraordinary things. Go to medical school, graduate from law school, start a business, launch it, all while they're a single mom or, all kinds of things. You just got to put your mind to it and go for it. What if you had a great mother that raised you and taught you, but lacked the support to stir you into purpose and to help bring out of the gifts in you? Well, you bless her and you tell you thank you for doing everything that you did. But that's why you need community. That's why you need coaches. That's why you need mentors. That's why you need pastors. Not one person can give you everything that you need, right? There are other people that carry pieces that you need for your destiny. If I was to start listing the mentors I've had, some I met, some I just watched on YouTube or TV, some I had direct contact with. I've had so many people. Some were in my life for maybe 3 months, some were in my life for 3 years, that were there for a specific part of me. Some mentored me in what it means to be a wife and a mother. I had another one, I was with her for 2 weeks. She taught me how to handle myself in front of diplomats and kings and world leaders. I was with other people that taught me how to understand business. And so because we're multifaceted people, we have to understand that there are certain people, and this is what Lola said, that will take you to the next level. And it might just be a part that you're missing that you need from somebody else. All right, please make your questions short and use a hashtag Q at the beginning so I can answer them. All right. Dr. Faith, have you come across students who were meds for anxiety and DTA helped them heal along with your doctor weaned off the meds? Yes. So what I tell my students all the time, if you're in therapy, if you're on medication, you stay on it, right? Because the reason we have dysfunctions, it could be biological, meaning something has gone on with our neurotransmitters, our dopamine levels, our serotonin levels, things are just jacked up, right? That's biological. It's a neurological issue. Medicine helps with that. It could be emotional. Maybe we have some levels of trauma or abuse or things that we went through that Holy Spirit can help with and therapy can help with. It could be environmental. It could just be where you grew up. And so one of the things that people understand in DTA is that you are a holistic being. We are biopsycho, social, spiritual beings. We're not just one dimensional. So I always encourage people, keep taking your meds, work with your therapist to wean yourself off. And this is the thing. If you go through inner healing and deliverance and you're healed and everything goes away, then it was just a spiritual issue. But if you go through inner healing and deliverance, you go through prayer, which is what we provide in DTA, and you still need to work through some things, you may need therapy, and it's still having, you may need medication. The same way that you can't medicate demons, right? You cannot cast out a characterological or psychological issue. And so you need to have all of those different things working with you to help you be whole. Do Americans have trust money that can be released to the people? Do Americans have trust money? Are you saying like money in a trust? Um, Americans, I mean, they have a lot of money. The government obviously has been releasing money during the pandemic. But there's always a cause and someone is paying for it. For those of people that get money from the government, someone is paying for it, right? Someone who pays higher taxes, some of us in the higher tax bracket, someone is paying for it. And we all end up catching up to it at some point. So I'm not sure if that's what your question was around. But our government is great in that it made a way. I know right now some states have like gas liens where not they're reducing the amount of gas for a certain weekend, or I saw California was getting ready to start giving out $1,000 checks, stimulus checks of some sort, to help with the high gas costs. Only in America. All right, only in America. All right, let's see. Does the problem help with trauma issues? It does. So this is the thing. When you have a trauma, that means something happened to you that was traumatic. When something happens to you that is traumatic, a door is opened. All right. If that door is dealt with right away, and I'll give you a practical example. If I'm a little girl and I hear gunshots, right, all the time growing up, I develop a trauma. So I become hyper vigilant. I become nervous. I don't like going outside. I may have a social fear of some sort. So if that's not dealt with, that means that you're going to see it in my life. I may have flashbacks. I may remember things that went on because of that trauma that was caused. Now, what the enemy does is if that door is open and is not dealt with, he begins to introduce demonic spirits into that wound. He causes you to have a spirit of fear. He causes you to have a spirit of suspicion. He causes you to have a spirit of indecision, because there was a wound that was created and it was never closed. What inner healing and deliverance does, which is what we do, is help you identify the wounds, help you identify the entry point, help you identify the thoughts that are connected to that event, right? And then learn how to invite Holy Spirit in it. Now, what therapy does is it's going to help you develop systematic steps and tools, and they have treatment modalities that are specific for that trauma. So if someone has a severe traumatic history, look, this is Angela. She says she can testify that DTA has helped her with her trauma, because there's a spiritual component to trauma, and then there might be a psychological or emotional component. Not everybody has all the components. We help you with that spiritual piece, and then we help you understand when you need to also get a therapist on board to help you with the other piece if you need it. Would it be a good idea to consolidate debt opposed to paying on separate debt with various interest rates? It depends on what that debt is. And that's why I'm excited to announce this bonus that we have coming up, because these are the type of questions that we're going to answer specifically from individuals. So I'm going to be sharing, but it depends on what the type of debt is. And I'm saying that to say it'd be great if my husband was here with me, because he's really good at that kind of stuff. He would give you ideas of what kind of debt you want to consolidate and what kind of debt is better to just kind of pay off. And one of the things I want to do in that bonus that I'm going to share with you guys is we're going to bring in someone who's a financial expert to kind of help us work through that. All right. Any other questions? Any other questions? I wanted to take time, and if there were questions from the summit that maybe you had put up and we didn't get to see or we missed somehow, I wanted to give you guys the opportunity to answer those. Does the program help with self-awareness? I feel I don't even know who I am. That's the whole goal of the program, to help you heal who you are, know who you are, step into your destiny, your purpose, financially, emotionally, and spiritually. How would you handle exploring work to earn money? Okay, I answered that one. Thinking of going back to school, would it be smart to move in? Okay, good. I answered those. I wanted to make sure. If I missed your question, just repost it. Would it be okay? Good. Is there such a thing as a spiritual father wound? Yeah, I mean, people get hurt by people, right? People hurt people, and sometimes people hurt people and they didn't even mean to. But what happens is the more wounded you already are, the easier it is for you to keep getting wounded. What do I mean by that? If you don't have the right coping mechanisms, if your perspective of people is faulty or jaded, you're going to have these. So, for example, usually people get hurt by a spiritual mom or a spiritual dad because they have father wounds from their natural mothers and fathers. And so they look to spiritual parents to replace their natural mother and father. And when the spiritual parents don't meet their expectations, then they feel wounded and they feel hurt. Now, sometimes they had great moms and dad, but maybe they just ended up in a bad environment. And because that spiritual mother or father themselves has an orphan mindset, has an orphan wound, they exhibit orphan-like characteristics. So there's characteristics that leaders exhibit that are orphans: controlling, domineering. They don't like to deal with issues. They put you against other people. They're always comparing. This is stuff we cover in DTA, right? And so because of that, you could be wounded from that experience and it not have nothing to do with your natural parents. But a lot of times it's when we have wounds from our natural parents and we're looking for someone to affirm us and give us identity, that we get caught up in these relationships with people that end up abusing us. All right. Is everyone on the same level when DTA begins, or are they further along? Great question. They are further along, right? So DTA is like a school. So when you come into DTA, you come into first grade. We have our D1 students who are like sixth grade, D2 students who are like fifth grade. And so everyone is on different levels. And so the first 3 months, D8, you guys have me for 30 minutes to work through your questions and everything that you're trying to figure out. And then at 10 o'clock, the other students join us. So you have me for an hour and a half for, I don't know, 6 months. And you get to hear what some of the other students are learning. You get to learn from them. You get to hear me answer their questions and so on and so forth. But it is a progressive program, because I know what you need first in order to get second, third, fourth. And the whole goal is for you to be exactly who God called you to be in your industry, in your family, in your relationships, and for you to succeed in every area of your life. How do I deal with brethren who are continually against fellow brethren in the church as a pastor? You, as the pastor, need to do a whole teaching on community. You need to do a whole teaching, right, on love. And then you need to call a town hall meeting and deal with the conflict and deal with the gossip. When our church was young, that was one of the things we had to do. And those town hall meetings can be like, oh my gosh, because half of the times they're pointing the finger at the pastor. It's the pastor's fault. But you want to create space where people can talk about their issues. As a leader, as a pastor, you don't want to cower away from that, right? But you want to definitely create that environment where we're going to talk about this. We're not going to talk about each other. We're going to talk about it, and we're going to talk about it together. And so you, as a leader, you want to make sure that you are not afraid of the difficult conversations, that you don't mind conflict, and that you deal with this thing head on. You cannot swerve around it. All right. Let's keep going. It is there. Good, 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 good. Make sure you put a Q in front of your question so that I know that it is a Q question. New DTA members are considered D8. Yes. And so you should have been able to see your welcome video in the product where I kind of explain how everything works. I will also go live. We'll let you guys know and answer all the new questions. So in the members only group, I'm going to go live. I'm going to answer all your questions and make sure that you are good to go. I will probably do that tomorrow morning, but our team will send out an email to let you know exactly what time that is. Once we complete DTA, how is the elective process? So you just keep going. So we already have about 6 electives that previous students have picked, right? So we have electives on Bible, understanding the Bible, Bible knowledge, the Christian faith. We have electives on angels. We have electives on leadership. But you don't get to say, well, I want to do this one and I don't do this one. I keep you in the same progress and you keep going. But at that point, you can say, hey, we want to learn about this. And so then we add it towards the end of those electives. So there's courses that keep going and going and going. All right. So I'm in a season where I don't know what decision to make. I'm weighing pro and cons, but pros don't always mean the will of God. How can I hear from God about his will and direction? Does it bring righteousness? Does it bring peace? Does it bring joy? Righteousness. In doing this, will I become more like God, right? Is it going to require more patience, which makes me more like God? Is it going to require some long suffering, which makes me more like God, right? Look at the fruit of the Spirit and say, does this make me more like God by doing this? Peace. If I think of not doing it, do I get anxiety? Do I get a little nervous? When I think of doing it, do I feel calm? Do I feel peaceful? And then joy. Which one brings me the most joy? All right. Let's see. When does DTA begin? As soon as you start up, as soon as you sign up, right? What happens is you get the introductory material. It's explaining to you how everything is going to work. Tomorrow night, you're going to get your first set of videos. And next Wednesday is your first live Q&A with me. All right. Once I joined, when is it to move to the next level? How much will the next level cost? No. Once you join for $49, that's your price for the next 3 years, 10 years, however long you decide to stay in DTA. I don't change the price on you once you join. Now, if you leave and you want to come back, you will enter at that price, but your price is set. My son told me about 5 years ago that he was homosexual. He grew up and he still is in the church. I love him much. He's a great son, but could I be dealing with trauma because I won't have grandchildren? Yeah, I mean, you could be dealing with remorse and regret, right? And sadness, and it can be traumatic, right? Because your heart is broken. And so it's a matter of going through the healing for that grief and the brokenheartedness. And we talk about how to heal a broken heart in DTA, but also, talk to him about different options and make sure that you've talked to him about this, right? Does he understand that he will not have a legacy, that he will leave nothing behind? Like, does he understand the weight of his decision? So, and I love that you love him very much, and you've kept him close, but these are things that you guys need to talk through. If you own a home in a state that is expensive to live in, do you need to hear from the Lord to move or just relocate? Because it's a wise thing to do. It's a wise thing to do. We wait a lot of times for, just line upon line, precept upon precept, but that's why he has given us the mind of Christ. Now, when moving, you want to make sure you have a job, you want to make sure that it's a good environment that you're moving to. But the things like that, if I say, God, I feel like I'm supposed to move to a different state, and I look for jobs in different states and doors open, that's the Lord saying yes. If I look for a home in a different state and I get a better deal than what I have here, that's the Lord saying yes to me. So it's not that complicated. DTA is like a cohort group. I want to be part of a community where I can find an accountability partner. Yeah, you can ask. They meet with each other. They, meet on Zoom. People develop accountability partners. All you have to do is ask in the group and people will say, yeah, I want to do it. Where can I find the electives? Baby girl, you just started. She's a D7 student. You are not done with a full year yet. Electives only start after you have finished a full year. All right. I enroll in DTA under monthly payment. Can I change to annual? Yes, you can. But let it be kind of early so that our team is not, switching it 6 months from now, but you can. If you stop DTA and re-enter at a later time, do you have to start the program from the beginning? Normally they start you from the beginning, but if you ask, they can try to put you in the cohort that you previously were in. All right. Make sure you put a Q if you have a question, guys. How do I get coaching or development that I need when I don't learn, or rather don't do really well with video learning? Everyone is doing more of that. I'm more an in-person type of person. You got to jump on the bandwagon, right? So you're learning right now. You're asking me questions. I'm answering you. If you're not learning this way, I don't know what to tell you, right? Because I don't know if you've joined the summit, but you learned the whole week if you were part of the summit. You're learning right now, and that's exactly what it is. The problem is when we think about mentorship and coaching, we have always thought that it would be somebody that we can pick up the phone and call. That's not what mentorship and coaching is, right? Coaching is somebody who can see the potential that is in you and help sharpen it and pull it out of you. Mentoring is sitting under someone's feet who has gone ahead of you in the areas that you need, and you learning as to pour their virtue out of you. So you're doing this, so I'm pretty sure that you could do that as well. All right. Questions, questions, questions. So we are so excited. Let me share this bonus with you guys as you're getting on, right? So we had people who joined DTA when we did our spiritual gifts workshop, and they got a bunch of beautiful bonuses. That's their bonuses, right? But once you're in DTA, you qualify for the group bonuses that everybody has. So my DTA students, I want you to type, I get this too. Write it down because I don't want to see any questions. Do I get this? When do I get this? So if you already signed up for DTA, whether it was 7 years ago, whether it was yesterday, whether it was 2 weeks ago, you get this bonus too. But for those of you guys who are going to sign up within the next 24 hours, I want to share with you what we've got planned. Now, if you don't sign up within these 24 hours, obviously you're going to miss out on this. If you missed the last 24-hour bonus, you don't get the replays. You don't get the opportunity for the coaching session. You missed that bonus. But what I want to do is give you another one for the next 24 hours. So this is what we're going to do. All right. So far we have those people that have registered have had a chance to win the 30-minute session, right? And that was valued at almost $500, right? And then they were able to get the replays and from last year and the previous year. And those that were able to do that between Wednesday and today, what's today, Friday, and last night qualified for those. So there is one more bonus that we want to give you, and it might be not one more. I may have another one, but they're going to not be as great as time goes, right? Because these are called fast action. We need you to make a decision. So we're in the final stretch, and there was a lot of like financial and business questions that people had. And so what we're going to do is whoever registers between now, right, and 12, what's tomorrow? Saturday at 12 o'clock p.m., you have an opportunity to sit in a private group coaching. Someone said group, and that's going to include all of our students, but it's going to be around finances and business. And this is why this is great. You're going to get a chance to send in 2 questions that are specific to you. And we're going to sit in there and we're going to answer every single question. And so that might be a 2-hour coaching session. It might be a 3-hour coaching session. But all of you guys that have already registered, that are already in DTA, you already have qualified for that. You're going to get a form probably end of August, because we're going to do this in September, where you send in your 2 questions and we're going to answer specifically around finances. How do I budget? What should I do with my business? All around that. We want to do a specific, what are some ideas around stocks? What are some ideas around investments? I'm going to see if I can pull in one of my financial advisors in that bonus, because we really want you guys to be prepared for what is to come. You get this opportunity if you sign up before tomorrow at noon. If you wait until Monday when we cross out, you're not going to qualify for it. And so this is what we want to do, a private bonus session with all of you guys, answering each of your questions, at least 2. This is business coaching. Our business coaching is more than our regular coaching, right? And you're getting both of us. And we're going to answer that, give you guys that opportunity to sign up for that. And so that is open now. And our registration closes Monday at 12. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to go live with our new students. I'm going to welcome you guys in the paid members group. I'm going to answer your questions specifically about the program in the paid members group. Let's just say 9 a.m. I know it's a Saturday, but I want you to get up early. And if you can't, you can watch the replay. But for those of you guys who are still on the fence or you registered, this is your opportunity to at least get one bonus, right? All those other students, you already registered, you've already gotten your bonuses, but we're adding another one for you guys. All right, you get to be a part of this. So that's what we wanted to share with you guys. Let me know if there's any other questions as I head out here. Can you explain childlikeness? Let me make this small. Yes. Can you explain childlikeness that you spoke of? I didn't get it. The kingdom of God belongs to such as these. If you ever were around Jesus, if you ever read about Jesus being around children, you saw how much he valued children, how much he appreciated them. He talks about blessed are like the meek at heart, right? And so faith is a childlike concept. To believe the word of the Father is to be like a child. And so we as children are to be like children. We are children. We're his children. And what that means is that we believe him. We have a sense of joy. We have a sense of wonder. We have a sense of awe. Now, this concept could be very foreign if you grew up in a very religious environment that talked about faith being very serious, being very pious, being, very buttoned up. But one of the things that you learn as a son when you break the orphan mindset, because orphans hate this, when you start talking about being childlike, they're like, that's stupid. Why would you want to be childlike, right? Because they have taken so much time to build up this persona and this identity. And the Lord calls us to, sorry, I have to announce the winner too. The Lord calls us to live in this place where we are so his children. And so that's what childlikeness is as well. All right. Um, All right, so that's childlikeness. I forgot I needed to announce the winner of the 30-minute session. This is the person that registered between 12 Wednesday and 12 midnight Wednesday night. And so I told my team, I picked one number and I said, tell me who this number is. I don't know what number I picked. I don't know if it was 115, 125th. I told them the number and they picked the winner. And so the winner of the individual coaching session with me, 30 minutes, is Barbara Dorsey. I don't know if Barbara Dorsey's on, but you're going to get an email from our team. They're going to schedule that time with you. But you fast acted, you acted quickly, you got a chance to win that raffle. And so I'm excited to meet with you around your topic and what you want to talk about. So they're going to be emailing you, Barbara Dorsey. And then we announced the winner of a 1-hour session. These are people who had signed up in our spiritual gifts workshop, and that was Aisha Banks. I believe that was her last name. So I wanted to announce that winner before I got off. All right. Will I be able to pre-submit questions to be answered on Wednesday Live? Since yes, my dear, you'll be able to post them either on the Facebook page. Well, that's the best place because you put hashtag family chat in our group. We have a private group. This mentoring and training group is not our DTA group. You get access to a paid members only group and you get to ask your questions and I answer them live. All right. And you just go back and watch it. All right. I've received multiple prophecies that I'm called to pastor, but I don't like people nor the idea of being a traditional pastor. Am I running from my call or am I called to something else? Well, we want to heal that, right? Why don't we like people, right? What's up? What's going on with that? So you want to work through that. But just because you're called to pastor or shepherd doesn't mean you're called to start a church. But people that are called to pastor love people, right? So either you're in an environment where they don't have a full language of the fivefold. So everybody that's called to ministry, they say pastoring, but you cannot be called to ministry and not love people at all. So you probably want to heal around that area, right? And figure out what's going on. And it might be pastoring, it might be teaching, it might be something else, but you definitely want to get clear languaging. And so we teach on the fivefold in DTA. We talk about your temperament and your gifts and how they all work together as well in DTA. When will the replays be available and is it sent via email? When you registered before 12 p.m. yesterday, there was an email that was sent to you with all the instructions for DTA. Point number 10 was click here for your replays. They're there. All right. You click that and that's how you watch your replays. They've already been sent. For DTA students that are already students, we emailed you this morning access to those replays. All right. Any other questions that I may be missing? I see a lot of congratulations. Thank you for your generosity. May it be returned back to you and your household. Bless you. Okay, I'm so excited. I hope to see so many of you guys in the program. Please feel free to ask whatever questions that you have. I'm so glad that you were part of our summit. I know that it was revolutionary, and I look forward to just chatting and growing with you guys over the next several days. So look forward to talk to you soon. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. Oh, I see. One last question. What does it look like to be a pastor but not start a church? You shepherd people. You lead a small group. You lead a department, women's department, men's department, all of that stuff we cover in DTA. We help you understand languaging if you're called into the fivefold and exactly how you are supposed to go. Can you explain emotional giving when you feel afraid that you're going to not please God and you give, or God is going to punish you and you give? Scripture says that we should be a cheerful giver. So anytime you feel fear or anxiety, you probably shouldn't be giving at that point. All right. Bless you guys. If you missed your answer, you can go ahead and listen just a couple steps back. The replays were sent in the email that introduced you to the into DTA. All righty. Bless you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.